everyone, welcome. My name is Thea Ulrich and this is episode 4 of the Trio Challenge. I would ask you how you're doing, but who wants to open that can of worms? Instead, I present to you a photo of a baby elephant. It has bird friends. As ever, let's start with our materials jar. This is the material I will have to use to make my final object. Marbles! Insert all lost my marble jokes now. Jar 2 is the action I will have to do while I'm making my final object, and I have chosen handstand. The third jar is the object I have to make. Lampshade! Why are these the words I pick? So as much as I would like to actually use marbles to make a lampshade, I think that the tools necessary to be able to do that and the time it would take me to do that maybe exceeds what I have available in my own apartment. So here's what I'm thinking for the project. I have to be in a handstand while using marbles to make a lampshade. I have this really nice rice paper, and I thought that would be the perfect material to make a beautiful lampshade. Nice glowing quality. So I'm going to be in a handstand. I am going to dip the marble in red paint, and I am going to roll it across the rice paper to create some kind of mark that hopefully will look really cool. I decided on red paint because I thought it would have that someone's been murdered here energy that we all feel in our souls. As you all know, projects like this take careful research and deliberation. And since my poor, quarantined, very abused and atrophied body has to be upside down while I'm doing this process, I can't even do it with a leg on the ground. I figured that I would do some experimentation right side up because, as we all know, the healthcare system is already overtaxed, and this would be a lousy reason to end up in the hospital. I have really good feelings about this. This time I'm going to grab a bunch of marbles and throw them in, and then I'm going to try and lift the container and roll the marbles around. We'll see what happens. Okay, the whole rolling around thing, I really liked how that looks. I figured I would try some different handstand variations because nowhere did it say that the handstand had to be straight up and down. And surely, internet, there's no need to comment on my handstand form. I know it's atrocious. But look at what I'm doing. As long as my Russian coach never sees this, it will be fine. It rapidly became very clear to me that I was going to need to use an assisted handstand device of some kind because my body was dying. I figure, look, maybe one day there will be something to live for again, and if I no longer have shoulders, it would be a concern. One of the best things about doing the assisted handstand technique, aside from maintaining my integrity as a human being with shoulders, was that it really made it so that I could focus on the control and technique of how the marbles were rolling across the rice paper. I ended up making a lot of these. The rice paper ended up being incredibly flimsy, so I had to reinforce it. I ended up using shellac because that was the only thing I had lying around, and also because it gives me the opportunity to tell you that shellac is the reproductive secretion of a beetle from Thailand. Yup. While I'm waiting for my beautiful marbled rice paper to dry, I am going to try and disassemble this lampshade. I thought I could use the wire framework of this lampshade, and then I realized that there's no wire framework. So I've decided just to go for doing cutouts in this lampshade, and I'm hoping that it will maintain enough structural integrity. Artsy shots of cut-up lampshade. Modeling the cut-up lampshade. Just let it be over! I am doing so well. There is nothing to be concerned about here. Woo! It's time to tell IKEA to step aside. Alright, so literally all I'm showing you here is that I painted it red and then I used tape to secure in the rice paper. I like the ones that show the movement of the marbles together most clearly. I'm not trying to argue that I'm trying to make a point here or have some large intention because, let's be honest, I was throwing marbles around with my feet to make a lampshade, but I do get really excited when I see that these types of lines and movements are not something that I would make with my hand if I just was painting with a paintbrush. It's very specific to the process that I chose, and that's revealing itself in the final product. The glow from this lamp is actually diffuse and beautiful and even throughout, but my cell phone was very clearly just not up to the task of filming it. So I gave up and read a book.